How Ghana became free of the colonial masters. The story of Ghana's independence is not just a tale of politics or law. It is a story of courage, resilience, and the unbreakable spirit of a people determined to reclaim their land, their identity, and their dignity. To understand how Ghana became free, we must first journey back centuries before independence to a land rich in history, culture, and wealth, a land long admired and exploited by the outside world. Long before Europeans arrived, the region that would become Ghana was home to thriving kingdoms. The Akan, the Ashanti, the Fanti, and other groups maintained complex societies with elaborate governance systems, trade networks, and cultural institutions. Gold flowed from the forests and rivers of the interior, and traders from North Africa, Europe, and the Middle East came to exchange goods, creating a network that connected Africa to the wider world. But the arrival of Europeans in the 15th century changed the trajectory of the region. Portuguese ships were the first to anchor along the coast, establishing trading posts. They were soon followed by the Dutch, the Danes, and ultimately the British. The lure of gold and other resources led to the establishment of forts and trading centers along the coast, turning the region into the Gold Coast, a colony designed to serve European interests. Over the centuries, British colonial authority extended inland, using treaties, military force, and indirect rule to control African populations. Life under colonial rule was harsh. Farmers were forced to grow cash crops for export, sometimes at the expense of local food security. Taxes were imposed on people who had no say in government. Traditional rulers were subordinated to colonial officials. Education was limited, and African political agency was systematically suppressed. Many began to see that colonialism was not merely inconvenient, it was a system designed to subjugate and exploit. Despite these challenges, the people of the Gold Coast never surrendered. Resistance took many forms. Early revolts in the 19th century, while often brutally suppressed, sowed the seeds of political consciousness. Communities organized to defend land rights, resist unfair labor practices, and challenge taxes imposed by foreign authorities. These acts of defiance, though localized, were the first glimmers of a national struggle that would emerge decades later. The turning point came in the early 20th century, as a new generation of educated Africans began to emerge. They were lawyers, teachers, journalists, and civil servants who had studied abroad or in colonial schools, returning with ideas about democracy, rights, and self-determination. They understood that education was power, and that political mobilization could challenge the legitimacy of colonial rule. Organizations like the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, established to oppose land expropriation, became centers of activism and intellectual debate. Newspapers began publishing editorials calling for reform, and ordinary citizens were slowly drawn into the discourse of liberation. World War II brought a new sense of urgency. African soldiers and laborers who had served in the British forces returned home with eyes open to global possibilities. They had witnessed the paradox of fighting for freedom abroad while being denied freedom at home. The war had weakened European powers, created political shifts, and ignited aspiration for independence across the continent. The Gold Coast was no exception. A growing sense of unity and purpose began to form among diverse communities, stretching from the coastal towns to the interior regions. In 1947, the United Gold Coast Convention (UGCC) was formed. Its mission was clear: push for constitutional reforms and greater African participation in governance. Leaders like J.B. Dankwa, a respected lawyer and scholar, sought gradual change, believing in negotiation and measured pressure. But among the young leaders, one man's vision extended beyond reform: Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah, a charismatic lawyer educated abroad, believed that only full independence could secure dignity and self-determination for the Gold Coast. While the UGCC focused on measured reforms, Nkrumah sought to mobilize the masses in a campaign that would fundamentally challenge colonial authority. In 1949, he broke away from the UGCC to form the Convention People's Party (CPP). Unlike the UGCC, the CPP spoke directly to the ordinary people, farmers, traders, and workers. Nkrumah understood that independence could not be granted from above. It had to be demanded from below. The early years of the CPP were fraught with danger. Colonial authorities quickly perceived the movement as a threat. Nkrumah and his colleagues were arrested, meetings were banned, and demonstrations were violently dispersed. In Accra, crowds chanted in defiance as British soldiers tried to break up rallies. In small towns and villages, supporters organized strikes, refusing to work on colonial projects or pay taxes. Women played critical roles, carrying food, spreading messages, and even standing in front of troops to shield protesters. Children learned songs of resistance that they would carry into adulthood. Yet, each attempt at suppression only strengthened the movement. Nkrumah's speeches resonated deeply, framing independence not as a privilege, but as a right. He spoke of dignity, of reclaiming stolen wealth and self-rule. He spoke of a future where Ghanaian farmers, traders, teachers, and soldiers would govern their own destiny. These messages spread rapidly, carried by word of mouth, newspapers, and the bustling networks of towns and villages. By 1951, the power of the people could no longer be ignored. The British colonial administration, recognizing the CPP's massive popular support, called for legislative elections. The CPP won decisively, and Nkrumah, recently released from prison, was appointed leader of government business. It was the first time that the majority of the Gold Coast's people had a direct say in how their country was governed. Yet even with this victory, Nkrumah and his supporters knew that symbolic political representation was not enough. True independence required control over law, economy, and foreign affairs. In the years that followed, Nkrumah's leadership combined political strategy with mass mobilization. He toured every district, speaking to crowds of thousands, listening to their grievances, and inspiring collective action. Villagers recounted nights spent planning protests under candlelight. Teachers wrote pamphlets explaining the CPP's vision to students. Fishermen in coastal towns refused to sell to colonial markets. Traders in the interior refused to transport goods for colonial authorities. The people of the Gold Coast were, in effect, creating a parallel system of governance, showing that colonial rule was neither necessary nor legitimate. By 1956, after sustained political pressure and negotiation, the British agreed to another general election to determine the people's will regarding independence. The CPP won an overwhelming majority. The stage was set for a historic transformation. On March 6, 1957, the Gold Coast officially became Ghana, the first sub-Saharan African country to achieve independence. Kwame Nkrumah was sworn in as the first prime minister, and the nation erupted in celebration. Streets in Accra overflowed with jubilant crowds waving flags, singing and dancing. Drums echoed across villages as news of independence spread like wildfire. Ghana had reclaimed its destiny, not through negotiation alone, but through the collective action, courage, and determination of its people. The independence of Ghana sent ripples across Africa. It inspired nationalist movements in Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, and beyond. Nkrumah's Pan-African vision emphasized that the liberation of one nation was inseparable from the freedom of the continent as a whole. Ghana became a beacon of hope, a living testament to the power of unity, strategy, and popular will. The story of Ghana's independence is also a deeply human one. Ordinary citizens, farmers, traders, laborers, women, and youth played extraordinary roles. Families hid organizers from arrest. Children memorized speeches to spread political ideas. Communities risked punishment to support strikes and protests. The fight for freedom was not confined to the corridors of power. It flowed through the streets, the fields, the marketplaces, and the hearts of the people. Ghana's independence reminds us that freedom is earned, not given. It is a lesson in courage, in leadership, and in the enduring power of collective action. The struggles of those years are not distant history. They are the foundation upon which modern Ghana stands. They teach that no oppression is permanent when a people unite with vision, strategy, and determination. And if you want to uncover more stories like this, hidden chapters of African history, the rise of empires, and the struggles that shaped nations, then make sure to subscribe to the Silent Chronicles. Their channel dives deep into Africa's past, bringing to light the histories that textbooks often overlook, stories of courage, wealth, knowledge, and resilience. From ancient empires to modern liberation movements, it's a treasure trove for anyone who wants to understand the true story of the continent. Ghana's journey from the shadow of colonialism to independence is a testament to the human spirit. It shows that ordinary people, when united by a common cause, can shape the course of history. It reminds us that freedom is not a gift. It is claimed, defended, and nurtured by generations who refuse to surrender their dignity. Ghana did not just become a nation, it became a symbol, a light for all who seek justice and self-determination.